Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Let's Play series. This is episode 2 and today we'll be working on a few areas of this monument area that need to be improved. For example, I will be putting in all of the sand barriers to segregate all of the water from one massive body surrounding this center square into much smaller strips that I can run the piston flying machines through to clear out all the water very easily. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll have to clear out the bottom of each of the segments so that they're all flat-ish, because otherwise the piston flying machines will get stuck on the mountains and stuff like that, and then that's really not fun for anyone. And yeah, let's get into it. Also, just before we get going, I have clearly got a better mic than in the previous episode. The other one was very crackly every now and then. It would just have a loud sound, which I didn't like. That was obviously a poor viewing experience for all y'all. But today I've got a better one, a little crisper. It's not great, but it is a little bit better. And also later in the video, I I did something in OBS to ruin the software recording. So instead of being perfectly like it is, where you see the hotbar down the bottom, it's a little zoomed in. So you can't see the hotbar and it's a little more zoomed in than I would have liked, but I have fixed that because I was in the wrong OBS recording mode. So yeah, don't worry about that. At the start of today's episode, I'll be including a couple of clips of myself constructing the sticky store that I designed in the previous episode. I collected wood and spent time mining out the area for me to later line the walls with trees to give it that real deep foresty sort of vibe. I then emphasized that further through the use of flowers and grass later on. And then I also used the time lapse of myself destroying that one little island at the top left of the map at the monument area. It was always going to go, it was a matter of time. I didn't destroy the entire thing because not all of it's on the map. I was just caring about what's on the map at this point in time. And then to finish off, here's a clip of me using TNT to collect sand because it is much more efficient than using a shovel. This should be the last two sand blocks that I'll need to place for this entire project. And there we go. So that should really be all of it. I've separated all the water into segments for the flying machines to get through. They're clearly not all the same size, but that won't be an issue because I can just modify the flying machine to be whatever size I need it to be. So I'll do that for all the sections except for this one over here. Just because it's so thin, it probably wouldn't be worth my time setting up a flying machine in that area. So I'm just going to sponge through it. Like I've got a stack and a half of sponges, so that won't be much of an issue, that little segment. But there is still a little bit of work we need to get done before we're able to put the flying machines in. So if you dive down here, we can see that there's mountains and there's mounds because there's not all the same flat level, which means that the flying machine will get stuck. So if it comes from this side and goes over that way to clear out the water, the honey blocks and the slime blocks will get stuck on this side of the mountain, and that means the water sources on this side won't be able to be cleared out because the blocks that will be responsible for getting rid of them are stuck over this side. So I have to run through and make sure that all the bottom of the water is completely flat. But before I waste all my time just diving in and swimming to the bottom and destroying a couple of sand blocks and gravel blocks and then rushing back up to the top for air, I'm going to do something that's going to help me out so much for the rest of this project and just for anything in the future that involves a lot of water. I'm going to get a conduit because although I could do that, I could spend time going down to the bottom and coming back up, it's just a waste of time. And I could definitely spend a lot of resources and time brewing up a bunch of water breathing potions, but that's not really going to help me because that's really time consuming in itself and it's going to use resources that I don't actually have. Whereas I have most of what I'm going to need for the conduit. I think I have 6 hearts of the sea. Sorry, I think I have 6 nautilus shells. I have about 20 hearts of the sea, so that's not a worry at all. And I've got the prismarine. If I need prismarine, yeah, I should be okay for that. So I'm just going to catch 2 more nautilus shells, and the easiest way to do that will be using my trusty luck of the sea fishing rod and hopefully getting some pretty lucky drops quite early on. Look at that. Not even 5 minutes and we've already got our first nautilus shell. Just one to go and we should be able to make that conduit. Name tag, not bad. Not what I'm after, but I'm definitely not going to complain about that. Let's go. Second nautilus shell. That should be, if I was correct if I was correct that we have 6 already, then we have enough for a conduit. But if I was wrong, we'll be back here pretty quickly. But hopefully I was right. Alright, here we go. 2 nautilus shells. Surely there's 6 in the chest. Let's go. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so now we're back at the monument to collect some prismarine for the conduit. And I always hate these little whatever they are sticking out between the blocks. It's terrifying. Let's go about here. Let's grab some of these. Whoop. Okay. Block that back up. Oh, no, they look nice though. We'll leave them. We'll grab. There's no way. Hold on. There's no way there's another sponge room in here. You're kidding. That means that this monument had 4 sponge rooms. That's insane. That is insane. I was genuinely sure that my monument that I selected wouldn't have any sponge rooms, and then I have to go to other ones to kill the LD Guardians there and then steal their sponges, but this is ridiculous. There's no way. I'm still so shocked by that. Sick. That's another very much appreciated 28 wet sponges. Thank you very much. Okay, I have decided to block that up and go with these ones on the side. Oh, no, okay, apparently not those ones. We're going to go with more of these ones then, because I don't really want guardians to be able to see me when I'm flying around, because this is perfectly safe at the moment. No mobs can spawn on this area other than guardians, and they can't spawn because there's no water anywhere. So it's all entirely mob proof, pretty much. Let's just go all for prismarine bricks, and we'll leave these because they look really nice. We'll just go to the other side. And yeah, I don't really want there to be dangers, so that oh, okay, I thought I broke the block there, but I didn't. 43. Grab that one just so that's all disappeared. I don't want there to be any chance that I can get killed while AFK just on there by a guardian, because that would be, yeah, that'd be so bad. So we're gonna stick with these prismarine bricks out here that were on the side and make the conduit right now. Look at that. Here we go. Boom. Oh, okay, perfect. Alright, and while we're here, we may as well set up the conduit. So we'll just go about here. I think it's 5, isn't it? 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I believe it's like this, and then boom, perfect. And then the exact same on the, oh wow, I see how it is. On the other side. Concerned by whether this is correct. Another one, lovely. Sick. Boom, boom. Okay, perfect. And then we'll put one there for the conduit to sit on. Look at that. And it should, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. And look at that. We are no longer losing any bubbles when we're swimming underwater. It's clearly a lot easier to see, and that is so handy. And I believe that any hostile mobs that come anywhere near this conduit will start taking damage. That's not much of a worry, because it'll just be a couple of drowns every now and then, and they're not too difficult. One hit with this Smite 5 sort will kill them easy. So, but yeah, definitely the water breathing and night vision are very, very handy to have.
I've now finished this one directly left of the monument with the conduit in it, and this is the result that I'm shooting for all of them. I ran into a mine shaft over here but blocked it up, so that's not going to worry us. And now, because it's all flat and there's no mountains or anything, the piston flying machines can be set up on this side or that side, whatever, and they get pushed along without running into anything, except for the conduit, so I'll have to remove that. And for the ravines and caves down below, I'll just have to use some sponges to clear that out because I can't get a piston flying machine in there. So I'll just have to use the sponges that I have and dry that out myself, which isn't ideal, but it's it's what I have to do. I'm now in the process of clearing out all of the bottom floor of all the segments around us, but before we continue with that, I'm going to have a quick look at the map and see what it looks like. Yes, look at that. Let's fly around to get my cursor off the monument. Yeah, that looks pretty sick actually. We are now going to have a quick look at my statistics section to see how many sand blocks I placed in total throughout that. And, oh, 43,000, that is clean. That is perfectly 43,000. I did a little bit before the project of placing sand, so it's probably around 42,000. But yeah, that's quite a lot. Although, it is a little less than I'd expect, but it is just the strips that I've placed. Like, I haven't filled in any of the water. I've just placed the strips of sand. So I think 42,000 is a pretty solid amount.
I honestly could not imagine doing a project like this without a beacon, without Efficiency 5, Haste 2, Instamine, because it is just so satisfying and it makes really easy work of mining out large areas of stone like this. The sand is fun because that's Instamine with Haste 5 anyway, Haste 5, with Efficiency 5 anyway, but all the stone, because this was quite a significant amount, probably about a little bigger than that one that I've had to dig out. And I'll have to do that for many, many segments. So the beacon, wow, the beacon's really clutching up on that one.
This right here is probably the best view to see how significant of a project mining all this sand and stone really is going to be. Like this stone and granite and all those ones on the walls here, that's where the mountain originally was, and it caved all the way down, and then there was that right there, that sand was the bottom, and then another big mountain over here, as you can see from that, and even some of the sand blocks about a couple of blocks above the stone and granite and all that was also part of the floor. So it's just a massive area, and this is just one of them. I've done two in total, so this one and this one right here, which is also done. But if we look at the size of this entire thing, I've done such a minimal amount overall. Like, these ones are going to be so much worse. Hopefully they're not all as low as this one. Like this first one that I did only goes to, I think it's about Y40 or something. Yeah, that's 42. I think the other one's 31. So they differ in depth, and hopefully I get more of the ones like this one where I don't have to dig away as much. But looking over here, yeah, I'm going to have quite a bit still to do.
Well, this is interesting. I didn't even know the pillager patrols could spawn on ocean monuments. Apparently they can. That's good to know. And there we have it. The entire seafloor is almost completely flat for all of these segments. And there are parts where it's not perfect, where I'll have to come through later on with a sponge, but that'll be a lot easier than filling in all these areas. Because what I did was I swabbed down to the bottom and identified what the easiest part was to dig away. So here's a mountain here, but the rest of here was pretty much flat. So it was easier to just take out the mountain and leave these as they are instead of filling in these areas or even mining it even further down to this lowest point, because that would be just a waste of my time. So with that, we are now officially ready. Oh, that's not very good. Officially ready to start the piston fly machines. So I'll probably trial it in these ones, or maybe with smaller ones, to make sure that the design actually works on the server and doesn't lag it all out. And then we can really get cracking on this project. Just before we move on, I'm going to fly down to the bottom of this area, and using the conduit effect, we can see quite a lot has been done. This one was massive because that was an island to about here. So I dug out that entire area. I did record a time lapse. Whether I include it in the video or not, I'm not too sure just yet. It wasn't great, so it might not be in the video, but it might. And this one right here really shows the the significance of the project that I'm currently in the middle of. Like that alone was quite a while, and that's such a small segment of the entire thing. And just swimming around, this is one massive area, but it is just one of many areas in this. Like there's two just there. There's another two on the opposite side, plus the monument itself and these strips. It's insane how massive. There's a sandbug missing. It is insane how massive this is. If we swim to the bottom of this one as well, you get a real good sense of scale as to how massive this is going to be. And I'm very glad that I used the conduit because I could not have done it without it. Also, while I'm here with the conduit, I just want to point out and appreciate how massive the conduit range is. Like, it's right here. I chose a pretty good spot just by chance. I didn't give it much thought at all. I just went, okay, it's pretty much in the center, and it's in the water segment that I was working on at the time. So when I go down here, I still get it, like all this distance away, and the beacon I get because the beacon is here, but I've had to move it multiple times throughout this entire dig. Originally it was here and I could get to some of this part, some of there, although over this corner here, when I was on this side, I couldn't get the effect, so I'd have to swim back that way, then mine as much as I could, and then swim back, and then keep cycling through that. Eventually I switched it to this other corner here, so I could target these areas, and then eventually, to finish off, I had it over there, so I could clear out as much as I could over that side. But I definitely believe that beacons should have greater ranges. You know for a fact that you're about to do some insane redstone when your inventory looks like this. Get rid of the kelp, don't need that. And the insane redstone that I'll be doing is Razorworks Honey and Slime Block Water Removal Machine. It's pretty simple to make. It's just a repeating wall, more specifically of honey blocks, followed by and slime blocks, sorry, followed by pistons and observers that update eventually through a flying machine thing that we'll have up here, and we'll be able to manually control and push across the water. Yeah, I knew I was being optimistic with the amount of slime blocks I had. I honestly thought that the 3 stacks would get us to at least one machine. Obviously, I won't be building them all at the same time and turning them off at the same time. The server would die. I'll have just one and then finish the segment, then build another one. But I really thought that 3 stacks of slime blocks would be enough. But that's all we've got. I've got nothing left in the inventory. That's all we've got. So I'm going to have to run to the shopping area and buy some more slime blocks. We're set for honey blocks, that's fine, because we need to finish these 3 strips here and another wall all the way to the top level here. And yeah, I don't have enough at this point in time. Quick visit to the slime and honey store should cover us over this side. Perfect, 9 diamonds. Yikes. There we go. That should cover it. And actually, while we're in the rain, I am quietly waiting very patiently for a thunderstorm so I can charge a creeper, because I think that's the last mob that I need to kill every hostile mob in the game, but it just never seems to be thunderstorming when I needed to thunderstorm. I had it a few times when I had a Riptide Trident and didn't need the achievement. Well, I didn't know that I was going for the achievement, but since then it hasn't thunderstormed at all, except for a 10-second window where I wasted the entire time trying to fiddle around with my shulker boxes and energy chests. So I'm waiting for that. And yes, I went back and closed the door. I wrote that sign, you know. What the hell did I just take damage from? Oh, right, anyway, while we're here, I figured we'd just have a quick look at the profits for the mod store. That's good. And see if there's any diamonds to be collected down here. Probably not, but, you know, it's worth a shot. Yeah, nah. Look at this, I just killed 4 phantoms, I got 3 heads out of it. I think that's pretty solid odds. That's, oh, alright, we're gonna pretend we didn't see that. I ran out of slime blocks again, so we are back here to get more. We're off by like 10, so it's just purely devastating that we ran out again. I've had to modify the design slightly using the actual video, because he used a number of flying machine power sources to push the machine across, and I've gone with this one now because it works a little bit better. And clearly it's had a positive impact down here with removing all this water, but down below it doesn't seem to be working very well. So my plan is going to be right now to just get this bit to the end and have a hole about that deep, and then have another look at other ways that I can modify the design to allow it to work better down below, so that I don't have to keep having this one flying machine go back and back across every single one of these segments that I've got here. And so this is where we're sitting right now. The piston flying machine has made it to the end of this little segment, as you can see, except that not all of it made that. You got to about that point right there when I realized that the bottom segments weren't actually pushing the water. Well, they were, but then the water was just being replaced behind them, so I decided to just cut them out and keep them as an empty slot here. So it's just this top wall pushing out all the water. As you can see, we have a decent hole. I'm not too satisfied with it, but it's better than nothing at this stage. It's a start. Um, Given the difficulties that I experienced with the design and the video, I'm happy with this. But that's actually all the time we have for this episode. I've reached the 20-minute mark and I don't want to exceed that, especially given that most people don't watch past the minute mark. So it's just a waste of time, really. So the next progress that I do on this will be in the next episode, where I will hopefully have a better design, or the same design, but figure out how to make it actually work, and then we'll be able to do a lot more damage to this water right here. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned to see what happens in the next episode.